Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a quick update video here with respect to the introduction here of Lady Bullseye and her addition into the Marvel Strike Force today. You will see later on at Reset, there's going to be the way of Power Core offers and as well as paid offers for the unlock here ultimately. But if you're in a similar position to myself, you should probably already have her at 7 red because there is actually an event. We were able to fully capitalize on this yesterday. Remember, they initially added this Lady Bullseye Unleashed event here. Still 7 days remaining, as you can see, and then there are 75 shards here remaining that you have to pay for. But otherwise, if you've been able to log in daily, play raids, you should be able to get all the way to the 7 red. So you don't even need to actually open the red star offers for her. Red star orbs for her, because most of us should already have her at 7 red, which is great. So in today's video, guys, obviously her being the first character of the Immortal Weapons team, the next raid team coming into Marvel Strike Force, we're going to be taking a look at her kit. And especially if you're upgrading this team respectively for raids, what upgrades make the most sense to min-max those T4 upgrades, as well as what ISO-8 potentially is going to be best for the raid setting as opposed to outside of raids as well. Now, having said that, I do want to point out what's really cool about her and what they've been doing with some of the newer release teams is adding a bit of theory crafting aspect. You'll see here, even though she's initially introduced here as Mortal Weapons, there's going to be some plug and play aspects with her being a Thunderbolt character as well. So we can utilize her actually with the other Thunderbolts as well. So just something to be mindful of there. All right, let's get into it. Mystic Blade's basic ability. So attacking the primary target for percentage damage as we increase this ability. You'll see at level 5 here, on crit, she's also going to be applying offense down up to a maximum 3 times on the primary target. Aside from that, nothing really to write home about. I mean, there's just a raw percentage increase here at level 6, and then really the level 7 is the same thing as level 6. So this is more of a T4 luxury. If you have T4 materials that's readily available to be utilized, I mean, this is a cherry on top. I personally will probably stop at level 6 just to conserve, as well as there's not really a need, and to be honest, it's just a basic ability and there's not doing anything special here. All right, Disappearing Trick. Special ability, attacking primary and adjacent targets for 100% piercing. You'll see with this ability as well, she's going to be able to flip positives into negatives on the primary and adjacent targets. Now, very similar to the basic, she's going to be once again applying the offense down up to a maximum 3 times. And then as well, she's also going to be able to prolong the duration of negative effects up to a maximum of 3 times on the primary and adjacent targets. And this is only available at level 6, which is really, really nice already, allowing us to extend those negative conditions, especially in a raid setting. But what I like about this is that this is beyond raids. It's going to be out in other game modes as well, which adds a lot of value for her kit usage and her versatility with Thunderbolts. And then lastly, T4 here, she's flipping all positive effects into negatives on the primary and secondary targets. So for that reason alone, this is a very, very strong upgrade right here, just to ensure that anything that's on there is going to get removed and then flip the other direction. So for sure, I would recommend T4ing and upgrading this to the utmost. But let's take a look at the ultimate and passive before we make that priority here in terms of what to focus. Fan Dance ultimate ability. Attacking primary and adjacent targets for piercing damage once again. Applying random negative effects actually to a primary and secondary target. So if this attack crits, she's going to be applying slow offense down and defense down in primary and secondary targets. But remember, there's going to be a random negative as well. This attack also at the same time has additional focus and cannot be dodged or blocked. And then as we level this ability up, you'll see she's going to be naturally giving offense up to her Mortal Weapons and Thunderbolt allies, which is really notable because obviously getting that uptick in damage is always helpful. Additional piercing, slow offense down and defense down are going to last for 2 turns now. And then what's really notable is that she's going to be clearing all charges on the primary target once you get to level 6. And then finally, in raids alone, and as well as giving an additional uptick of 50% piercing to primary and secondary, she's reducing the duration of all positive effects by 2 for primary and secondary. So this would include things like, safeguard, immunity, and so forth, which is very, very notable, especially given that this is a massive ability. Now, keep in mind, this only impacts the primary and secondary targets, so it's not going to be every enemy that you're up against, but if they're all clumped together, this is very, very effective. So right off the bat, the special and ultimate are looking like really good upgrades to utilize our T4 resources for. Now, keep in mind, I wouldn't necessarily upgrade the Fan Dance Ultimate if you're not planning to use this team in raids, but you should be because we're required to use them every single day anyway. So it just makes the most bang for your buck in terms of just maximizing the value of what she's going to be doing in the team setting. As well, remember, this is going to be applying to not just the immortal weapons, but also respectively when you're plugging her in as that 5th Thunderbolt character. Never misses passive abilities. When one or more enemies with offense down are attacked, attack the primary target of that attack for 5% of the target's max HP, which is great. If this character also has 3 immortal weapons, enemies cannot have their speed increase except by positive effects. So this is really nice because it's going to allow that immortal weapons to thrive competitively against other teams. And having that speed dynamic, they're doing a better job of inserting this because this does counter the speed meta, which is really notable. But what is nice about the passive is here, and you'll see that some of the bonuses that we'll start noticing in raids, right? In raids, she's going to be the energy generation. She's generating 4 ability energy for herself and all immortal allies, and this is on spawn. So that means you can go back in, use some abilities back out, and then come back in again, which is very notable, of course. She's gaining additional crit damage per immortal weapon, so obviously having more on the team is going to allow her to actually do more damage. And as well, she reduces the crit chance of all enemies by 100%. I love the fact that this is outside of raids as well, which means they're going to have some really good usage outside of just raids intended, right? So that's really notable, guys. And then lastly, with this T4 upgrade here, she's applying immunity onto herself as well as mortal weapons, and on top of that, additional 10% crit chance per immortal weapon or Thunderbolt allies here. So without question, you got to upgrade this one because of the fact that naturally she's going to be providing some protection to herself and the mortal weapons. It's unfortunate this doesn't apply to Thunderbolts because that would have been a really good opportunity. But I think for raid purposes anyways, the special, ultimate, and passive, they have to be must upgrade just because of each of them doing a different thing, right? The passive really benefits the team in terms of immunity, but it gives her additional crit chance to maximize that damage output. The ultimates obviously reduce big, heavy positive effects like safeguard, immunity, and so forth. And then finally, with the special here, the opportunity to flip all positives and negatives is absolutely detrimental when you're up against a team that you want to crush down. So, I mean, it goes without saying, guys, I think the most obvious ISO-8 is going to be the Raider without question. I mean, almost each and every one of her abilities has some sort of crit chance or critical damage reference. On top of that, there's piercing damage across the board, so you can maximize her damage output that way. Could you slot her in as a potential striker? It's possible. Like, obviously, having the offense down application could be nice, but I think her damage can be maximized with the Raider ISO-8, and then other characters on the team can be utilized as a striker to benefit off of that. So just to kind of maximize the damage output of this team. Potentially, if she's slotting in as a Thunderbolt, there's definitely opportunity for theory crafting there with the ISO-8, but I think typically the go-to is going to be the Raider, guys. So do let me know down in the comments below. As for coring, guys, remember there is an event right now with respect to the Purple ISO-5, and it's currently live right now. Being called King of the Zone, right? Remember, any kind of power core you spend for orders and offers right there are going to count towards this. So it's something to be mindful of. Personally, for myself, I'm focused on highlighting more of the Purple ISO-5 from this event, respectively. So I likely will not be coring for her directly. Instead, I'll be using cores for this event as shown here, as opposed to coring for her, because she's going to naturally come anyways into the sigil store, and that's what I'm waiting for as well, guys. So that's my 2 cents, my game plan and strategy. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Always curious and love to hear back. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.